Hey everyone, I am super fucking excited to have my next guest on the show today because this guest was my very first coach when I got into the coaching industry. So it is quite an honor to have her on LovePunch today. Jenn Scalia is a visibility strategist for entrepreneurs who want to make an impact. She's the go-to expert for entrepreneurs who want the world to know their name. This self-professed introvert and single mom went from rock bottom to creating a seven-figure business within 3 years. Known for her tough love, no bullshit style, Jenn helps entrepreneurs overhaul their biggest fears and empowers them to share their message with the world. She's the CEO and mastermind of Million Dollar Mommy, a company founded to help women across the world reach their dreams and financial goals. Jenn has been featured in Business Insider, Inc., and Forbes.com. Jenn, welcome to LovePunch.
I am excited to be here. I'm excited to jam with you and your audience and share the wealth. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's crazy because I think we worked together. It's been a few years now. And it's been really incredible just to watch your journey and watch you expand as a coach and like drop in even deeper in your purpose and who you are. That's been incredible to witness just as a former client. And so much of the work that we did has really stuck. Obviously, I'm not afraid of being visible, Jenn. Thank you. So I'm really, really stoked to have you on the podcast today so we can just jam out on, mindset and things that are some of the stuff that has really helped you get to where you're at and some of the things that you find are really helpful for your clients. So where do you want to start?
Gosh, I mean, I guess, we can start with really like why it's so important to have mindset. So, like you said, we worked together. It was about 3 years ago, and I was really heavily focused on like the marketing and visibility and helping people with like the logistical type stuff. And, that's all well and good and it's needed. But what I found through the years and working with people and even working on myself was that the mindset is the most crucial piece. And without that, no matter how much I talk about marketing, I can talk about marketing till I'm blue in my face. It will not work for you. It just will not work. It will not translate. It will not convert if your mindset is not in the right place. If your identity is unclear on, what you desire and what you want and what you want to have, for your business, but also for your legacy. And so I find that, the more work that I do in this realm with people, those are the people that are getting the big results. Those are the people that are making huge transitions and huge strides in their lives and their businesses.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people, when they start a business, right, when they go into it, the first thing that they want to do is like, I need to make money. I need to make money. And they work on all the external factors versus internal, and it's easy to kind of fall into that trap. Like, well, I just want to get return on investment in the term, like fill my bank account. And people don't naturally gravitate towards, well, let me get my shit right first. And I don't know if you found this, but I found this with my work with clients is a lot of people gravitate to that work first, the external, and then they realize it's not sticking. Something
Absolutely.
isn't working.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, most of the people that I deal with that are newer, that are just starting, it's like they hear I can get you clients and I can make you money. And that's definitely what they're jumping on. And it's just like, no, you've got to get this part right. So, and there's no way to really force that. I feel like that person needs to figure that out on their own, when they've done quote unquote all the things,
right,
and it's still not working and they're doing everything that they're supposed to do and it's still not working. That's when they get that, that real reality check that like, okay, there's something more, there's something deeper. What are these other people doing that are successful, that are just like literally coming on the scene and like blowing up? Like, what are they doing that's different than what I'm doing? And it's all the internal stuff. It's the inner work. It's the identity stuff. It's the mindset stuff that they're really focusing on. And it also makes everything much easier when you're focusing on that and you're in the right spot for that.
Yeah. And I found that that's the work that's a little tougher quite often, because that's the work that forces you to like look at your shadows and look at the things that you're not doing very well for yourself. Look at the way in which you're talking to yourself. Look at the way in which your beliefs are shaped and formed. And that's the tough stuff, right? Like putting together a funnel or a marketing campaign, we can, fill in the blanks and create something. But when you're doing what I call deep work, it can be a lot more frustrating because you're dealing with like the parts of you that you don't necessarily want to deal with.
Oh, totally. I mean, I work with multiple coaches. I work with mindset coaches, life coaches, relationship coaches, spiritual coaches. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really even hire people like business coaches anymore. Most of the coaches that I end up hiring for myself are, around that piece versus, here's the marketing, because I already know all that. Right. Yeah. And I hate it. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I hate when I have to get on the call with my life coach because I have to face my shit. Like, you're absolutely right. And it's it's not easy, but that is the work that needs to be done. And once you can get, really into the flow of like awareness around, those mistakes or learning those lessons or digging deeper into what you desire, then the rest is just like, it's literally a cakewalk. Like, okay, the ideas will come to you. The right marketing strategy is going to come to you. You know exactly what to sell to your clients. You're going to know exactly what to say to get them on board with your message. All that stuff comes effortlessly once you get yourself in order. And that's what a lot of people don't realize.
And so for you, would you say that that's been happening over the past few years?
Yeah. I mean, and I think also when I get into my head sometimes and I'm like, oh, what do I need to sell? Or how should I say this message? Or what should I post on Facebook? Like, I end up getting stuck, because I'm too in my head and not so much in like my heart and soul, where if I just like listened and I knew that like, this is my desire, this is what I want. And this is how, I'm being guided to deliver this message. When I can take that time and that space to listen to myself and to listen to what's on inside, that's when the magic happens.
And it's so interesting that you say that, because you're talking about moving from your head into your heart, but we're also talking about mindset here. So would you mind just elaborating on that piece?
Yeah, I think, I definitely mindset, I feel like, is a buzzword. It's something a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a mindset coach, or I'm this, or I'm that. For me, mindset is the collective of a lot of different things. For me, it's the identity. It's, who you want to be, who you have to be, the identity of the person who's making 6 figures or 7 figures or 8 figures, whatever it is that you desire. I think it is about setting boundaries. I think it's about knowing your own standards and living up to them, and then only involving people who also live up to them. So I think, when I say mindset, it's people think about, okay, well, it's, what's going on in your brain or your thoughts and things like that. But I think it's so much more than that. It really is more identity than mindset.
Okay. So mindset isn't just what's going on in your head. It's actually the identity work and how we see ourselves. So why don't you talk to us more about the identity work?
Yeah, I think this is probably the most important thing that people need to nail down is, we have a vision. A lot of people, especially if you're newer, you come in and you're like, I just need to make $5,000 a month, or I just need to make 10 grand a month, and it's usually not for any purpose really, but to like pay your mortgage or pay whatever. And that's just so uninspiring. Like, you're not going to get that, It's just uninspiring. Like, oh, I need to make just enough so I can just pay my bills. Like, no, it's really about like, okay, the identity of this person who is making the 6 figures, making the 7 figures, like, how does that person act? Who are they around? What are the decisions that they make? What does their day-to-day look like? How are they feeling on a regular basis? What are they doing on a regular basis? What are activities? What are they selling? Who are they selling to? Like, really diving deep into like all of these elements.
Yeah.
And then, instead of looking at it like, oh, that's a later thing, or that's like a pipe dream, or that would be nice thing. It's like, how can I step into that right now? Right? How can I start making decisions as that person right now? How can I start associating myself with people who are at that level? What boundaries can I set for myself? What standards can I set for myself? What activities can I be doing? So it's really about first, identifying who you want to be, who that person is, and then stepping into that person now, even if you don't feel like you're there yet.
Yeah. And it's interesting because so many people, it's like they're waiting. They're waiting for money to come. They're waiting for success to hit. They're waiting for ideas to come. They're waiting to become the person that they want to become, when really you can make a decision here and now to become that person. But that the concept of that, identity work, the concept of saying, well, I'm going to step into who I want to be today, it's really tough for people to wrap their heads around, because I feel like we've been taught as a society that like we have to go through these different stages in life to become who we are, but that's not the way it works. And so I love that you bring this up, because we do have visions. Everyone listening to this podcast right now has a vision, but it's like, who do you need to be to fulfill that vision? And then why are you not being that person today?
Exactly. And I think, this is true for every area, whether it's business, life, relationships, body, everything, like if I ask myself, okay, I, want to be this, thin, athletic marathon runner, right? Like that's my vision. That's my identity. And then I ask myself, okay, am I doing what a fit, athletic marathon runner would be doing on a daily basis? Hell no, I'm not doing that, right? So what can I do now? Like maybe, it's not going to look perfect right away, but I need to get up in the morning and run. I need to commit to, treating my body differently. So think about those like actual things that someone who is already there would be doing. And if you're not doing it, there's the disconnect.
Right. So it's like making choices and decisions as if you are this person today.
Exactly.
What would this person read? What would this person eat? What would this person do for self-care? who would this person hang out with? That sort of thing. So I'm curious to know, Jen, I'm super fucking curious to know, what is the identity that you have stepped into?
Well, I think it's a constant evolution for me. And, I like to set myself goals and have visions. And then usually when I'm like halfway there or part of the way there, I'm like, oh no, there's a bigger vision. There's a grander vision. For me, it's very simple. I have a very simple lifestyle. I have a very simple life. I'm a single mom still, after 7 years.
With a gorgeous son, by the way. He's so
gorgeous.
Adorable.
Yes, he is gorgeous. And my number one priorities are to be a role model for him. Like I want him to look at me and be like, my mom's freaking badass. And I'm going to be a badass, right? I want to live a comfortable life where I don't have to worry about, any financial pressures or anything, and so obviously money needs to come into play there. Although money's not just the one thing that I'm trying to achieve, it's not just like, oh, I need to be a multimillionaire. I need to make $10 million. Like I remember I actually coached with someone and I was really aligned with her at the time that I coached with her. And then all of a sudden she started talking about, making $10 million a year. And I was like, I don't resonate with that. Like that, I don't need to make $10,000 or $10 million a year. Like,
right.
What do I need to make $10 million a year for? So, I think it's definitely also like associating with like your needs and your desires, but also defining your own success. Like, what does that look like for you? Not for the next person or not for who people are saying you've got to go after six figures. Like, I don't know if you notice this online, but I before I felt like it was always like six figures. And now like everybody's like, nope, six figures isn't enough.
Right.
You go for seven figures. And it's like, you have to define like what that is for you. When I started my business, I wanted to make $5,000 a month. That was my goal because that would cover my bills and it would give me a little extra money to like give my son whatever he wanted. Now I'm making 10 times, 10, 12, 15 times that every single month, but that wasn't the original goal. So like I said in the beginning, it's like, it's an evolution, right? And then as you start to achieve little things and as you start to have those little benchmarks towards the identity that you want to create, it's going to change. It's totally going to change. Life changes. Shit happens. You break up with people, like, like stuff happens and you just have to like be constantly like reinventing yourself. But again, when you were talking about like who you have to become, and I often use that language as well, but it really isn't that. It's like, you're already that person. Like you are already that person. It's really about like peeling back the layers and uncovering that person, that ultimate you, that up-leveled you that you desire to be.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that because I was just telling a friend yesterday who was sharing with me that they've been going through all these changes and really working to become who they know they're here to be. And I shared with them, I said, this really just sounds like it's you coming back to you. Mm-hmm. And this is what this is all about. We're not, I say this all the time, babies aren't born with limitations. Like toddlers, babies, when they start to learn to walk, they get up, they fall, they get up again. They don't fall and stay down. We don't have that belief system yet. It's the world and society and our parenting and all of that stuff that puts these beliefs on us that, dims our light or puts those layers of the onions on. And we need to get back to who we truly are. So I'm so happy that you said that. And then something else that you said that was really crucial for people to hear is the word evolution. We are constantly evolving with our circumstances, with our life experiences, with what we go through, what we live through, the ceilings that we break. And our evolution plays a huge impact on our identity, because as we continue to evolve, I feel like our identity continues to expand, which is really important. I think a lot of people aim for like, I want to get to this place, and they have it really specific, and then they get there, and then what? Now you're stagnant. Yeah. Now you're fucking stuck.
Yeah. It's never that. It's never that for me. That's why when you asked me the question, I was like, well, I don't know. It could change tomorrow, know? And I think it's really important too, to be open to that. But I notice a lot of people who are, entering entrepreneurship or even have been in entrepreneurship for a while, just like you said, it's like they have this destination, this mm-hmm. like vision of like getting somewhere, and that's it, and also people that are really rigid with the plan. Like, mm-hmm. okay, here's the destination. That's it. And here's the only way that I can get there. And you really, in order to be successful in life, in business, is to be resilient. Yes. And to have like so many tools in your back pocket that like, hey, when, you get a curveball thrown at you, you know how to handle it. If mm-hmm. your launch is flopping, you can, reach into your back pocket and say, okay, I'm not going to lay down and take that as a failure or a flop. I'm going to be like, what else can I do? How can I shift this? How can I change this? And so I think it's really important to have that awareness as well, and be open. Like I've been saying mm-hmm. this for like 3 years, like mm-hmm. be open to different possibilities, be open to the change, be open to the evolution. And that's how you're going to like really reach, high levels of success.
Yeah. It's like opening your mind versus like having this closed mindset, thinking that things have to be a certain way or a particular way for you to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. It's almost like stunting your growth, because if you're just aiming for X, who says that you can't achieve like 100 times that?
Yes.
You're like putting yourself in a fucking box by saying this is the only outcome that I'm going to be happy with. Why not be open? So this is so fucking important for people listening to really understand, is that this work is really a constant evolution, and your success is defined only by you. That was something else I love that you said. Your success is totally just defined by you. And that definition can also change. Everything can change within a moment, within a day, And so for in terms of like people standing out, because this is a lot of my audience, is like the people who are really striving to stand out and step into thought leadership and create an impact. I feel for them, it's of the utmost importance to really honor this evolution and be who it is that they're striving to be. Just be that person. So what could you offer our listeners in terms of like maybe some starting steps to get into this identity work and to get moving in the direction that they really want to be moving in, versus like this either stagnancy or like doing the same shit and it's not fucking working?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to continue on what we were just talking about, like, for me, journaling has been such a powerful tool. I've been doing it probably, I think, 2.5, 3 years, like every day journaling, like what I desire, and stepping into that identity and really looking at the whole picture. Like, I think, a lot of times people are also very like one track minded, or they're very closed. Like they're only looking at parts of the picture, but like look at everything, right? Like, what do your relationships look like? What does your body look like? What does your day-to-day look like? Who are you surrounded by? What events are you attending? Like really like visioning like the best thing that could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when you journal, for me anyway, the process of journaling is really, it helps with clarity.
Mm-hmm.
For me, not only shifting the mindset and shifting your beliefs around what you believe can happen for you and transpire for you, but just getting into this habit of like knowing that this shit's going to happen. Like, I don't know when, but it's going to freaking happen. And it can happen really fast, but you've got to get clear. And I think the journaling also helps with the clarity, because as you're doing it daily, and it might seem like you're repeating yourself, but I find that like there's always something new. Every day it's like, ooh, I want that too. And ooh, that would be really nice. And ooh, I might not want that anymore, and just getting like really, really clear and manifesting, through your visioning.
So the journaling that you're talking about like you sit with your journal and you're like actually writing out what you desire or your vision. Is that what you're doing?
Writing out the vision in the present tense, as if it's already there.
Okay.
So a lot of times what people do is if they think about their vision or they think about their desires, it's like, I want this,
right.
I want to be a thought leader. I want to impact millions. I want to, be on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine. And I feel that the want will always keep whatever it is just outside of your reach, because you don't really believe that you can have it. So when I journal, I would say something more like, I am a thought leader in this space who's well respected. I have thousands of people on my email list. I just got this feature on the cover of Forbes magazine. So talking about it in the present tense. And at first it's weird. Yeah. It's very weird. People, it's like, wait, I don't actually believe this yet. And am I lying to myself? But again, it's like all of the thoughts and the beliefs and the patterns and the identity that we have right now is because we were repeatedly told that, whether by somebody else or by ourselves. So in order to shift that and in order to create the new identity and the new beliefs, we have to flood our minds with the new belief. And so at first it is going to feel weird. I'll give you that. I get that from people all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm lying to myself. I'm like, it will get easier, right? So vision it as if it's already there, you already have it, or in the past tense. So like, I already did this, or ever since I did this. So you can kind of like play around with that a little bit, whatever feels good for you. But that's what I do daily. And I go through every area of my life, my body, my fitness, my relationships, my life, my social life, my business, my finances. Like I go through everything. Like, what's in my bank account? What kinds of clients am I working with? What kind of relationship am I in? All of that stuff, and really vision it. And what it does for me is it, number one, sets me up for the day. Like I feel amazing at the end of my journaling session. I was like, like, this is amazing.
What a great high.
This is awesome. But it also like I just live my life as if that's already true.
Yeah.
And once you do the journaling for a consistent amount of time, you just start to believe that shit. And you're just like, yes, like it's there. It's just maybe not here right now yet. Yeah. Right. But it's here and it's possible for me. So it's definitely a consistent practice that needs to happen. And it doesn't even have to take a long time. It can be 5 to 10 minutes a day, really focusing in on, what are your truest desires, journaling them, or if journaling doesn't work for you, you can do visualization or meditation or something, where you are putting yourself in the present tense of whatever it is you want now. So don't keep it far away from you. Don't keep it as being a want or a one-day thing. It's now.
Yeah. Oh, that's powerful. For our listeners, this is something that you can start immediately, put it into action today. Don't wait until tomorrow. And like Jen said, if journaling is not your thing, do visualizations or do a combination of the two, which is also very powerful. I think that it's a lot of people don't understand that the reason that you have these beliefs or these limits upon yourself, or that you think you don't have what it takes to make, 10K a month or whatever the number is for you. You don't have what it takes to be a thought leader, to be respected, is because of these beliefs that you have, either unconsciously or consciously been programmed with, and continue to feed yourself, right? You continue to tell yourself shit like, oh, no one, who's going to believe me? Or I feel like an imposter. No one's going to want to work with me. No one's going to want to listen. That is shit that you're telling yourself on repeat every single fucking day. And this is what Jen's talking about, is this is what you've been programming yourself with every single day. So of course, the first few times or the first dozen or 20 times that you do journaling exercise, it's going to feel fucking weird. It's going to feel like this is not your life and you're being fake and you're lying to yourself. But this is about convincing yourself, for years, for decades, probably you've been telling yourself shit that's not serving you. So it's going to take some time to reprogram, but that can start today by you like consciously doing something like this journaling exercise or visualization. So you can flip your paradigm into one that's actually going to serve you. So I love that, Jenn. Thank you.
And it can happen so fast. I mean, I tell people you can start manifesting shit like right away, like within days, within a week, and that's also a belief. And that's a little trick that I'll give you the listeners as well is, one of the things I started to journal on as well was that things don't take a long time for me because that's a belief. Like we may be like, okay, yeah, I can believe that I can make 10K a month. I can believe that, one day I'll be a thought leader. Okay, I'm getting it. But then we still have this like time limitation, or we think that things, it has to take a certain time. It's going to take a few months. It might take a year. It might take whatever. And so one of the things I started doing with my journaling was journaling in this element of time. And that time and space does not exist when it comes to manifesting what I want. And it can literally happen like that. And that's another belief that I had to program was like, okay, I could meet the man of my dreams tomorrow. Like, boom, done. I could lose 20 pounds in 30 days. Yeah. Every, health coach or fitness coach would be like, it's going to take you 6 months to a year. Right. But I put that in that no, it doesn't take a long time. Like the weight just literally drops off. And it does, right? I mean, I actually lost 8 pounds in the last 2 weeks and I didn't even do anything. I just journaled about it. The mind is so powerful, but yeah, that's another little trick is like put in those little, things around time and how long something's going to take. Like, I don't believe that you can say, I want to lose, XYZ pounds by, June 21st, whatever. Like, I think that limits you for sure.
For sure.
But so not talking about time in the way of like actually putting a date on something, but just saying like, it doesn't have to take time. It can happen just like that. It can happen in an instant. Doesn't have to take long. So also including that in your journaling as well will help.
I love that idea of like just playing with time, because it's true. We constrict ourselves with time so often. And the other thing I heard you say is, I mean, we're basically just giving ourselves the beliefs that we want, which is really cool and really fucking fun. It's like, I'm just going to sit with my journal and I'm going to reprogram on this, our iPhones and Macs and all that, they're built in with these automatic reboot systems where we can, we just have new software updates. Cool. Like press enter, it's installed. What about us? Well, this is a great way for us to start reprogramming our software, which is powerful because, like we were saying at the beginning of this episode, it's not always the external. Like you get to a point where the external is not changing anymore. It's because the internal needs to evolve to keep up with the external. If you want to expand externally, you need to expand internally. That's that.
Love it.
Oh my gosh. So I want to hear your craziest manifestation story. The craziest one.
There's so many.
Pick the craziest one. The craziest
one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to talk about something that recently happened because I think this is crazy, and I wasn't supposed to come out with this, so hopefully this episode doesn't come out for a month or so. But I manifested like the man of my dreams, and I thought that I manifested the man of my dreams before, but this was completely different. It was really a situation where I was unhappy in a relationship. I actually just created a post about this, and I wanted to manifest an upgrade in my relationship. Like that's what I wrote. I said, and when I manifest and when I journal, I don't ever use names.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I'm in a relationship with Bob, I'm not
Right.
saying like, I need Bob to change. I need
Right.
Bob to whatever, you know, I don't ever use names. I keep it very fluid and open, just like we were talking about before. I'm not limiting myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, a couple months ago, I was like, I want to manifest an upgrade in my relationship because the relationship just wasn't working for me anymore. So I
Mm-hmm.
was working on that. And, you know, my initial thought process, of course, was like, I'm going to have an upgrade in this relationship, you know, the current relationship
Right.
that I'm in. And, you know, what happened was that relationship dissolved like pretty quickly after that. And I was like, man. And at first
Wow.
I was like, yeah, I didn't get what I wanted. Like, well, that
Yeah.
manifesting story sucks. Like that didn't work at all. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I kept the faith because, you know, for me, one of the things I journal on, or when I'm feeling stuck or when I'm really feeling like broken or in a place that's not good, I always say, you know, do I have faith in the universe? Do I have faith in God?
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, yes, 1000%, 1000% faith that like everything is working in my favor. And so I just remind myself of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so long story short, I had a breakup. I reached out to my realtor and I was like, hey, I need to sell this house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a house I bought with someone, and the realtor was somebody that I was friends with.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that he broke up with his girlfriend like a week before. So timing. And we ended up just like reconnecting, and it was like an instant, like amazing connection, partnership. And it's just been like crazy. And the funny part of this whole story is that I really had no business ever even buying this house with someone else, with that
Right.
other person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
none. Like if I look back and I say, okay, a year ago when I went to buy this house, like we should have never bought a house together.
Right.
Like it's just, and so for me, the manifestation is like, well, if we never bought this house together, I would have never met this other
Yes.
person. Right.
Yes.
This other person came into my life at the right time. He had just broken up with his girlfriend. I reached out to him because I was going to sell this house, and it was just like, boom, that's it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
story's over. Like, well, it's not
Wow.
over. It's just beginning.
Right.
But it's just, yeah, it's crazy. And that's the other point I want to make, is that it doesn't always look the way you think it's going to look.
Yeah.
That's why I talk about like being open
Yeah.
to the possibilities. Like you said, don't limit yourself. Like, who are you to ask for so little? Like,
Yes.
the universe, God, whatever you believe in, has so much in store for you if you just stop putting limitations on yourself.
Mm-hmm. What a great story, and what a great example of what happens when you are open. You know, if you had put names on that manifestation, it would have turned out differently. You know, it's kind of like how I ended up in LA. I thought it was going to be a job, but it was by meeting my soulmate, who is my husband. So it's really, really cool. And I think a lot of ways that people teach this work, the mindset work and the manifestation work, it's almost like creating more limits for yourself. And the way that you're speaking about it is actually, no, like remain open and create new belief systems for yourself. And in fact, like bust through time and bust through all these other beliefs that constrict us in any ways, and just design a program that's going to help you expand into whatever it is that you're meant to expand into. I mean,
Yes.
it's powerful.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Jenn, for coming on LovePunch. And at the end of every episode, I ask my guest to share their own love punch. And, you know, I'm pretty sure you know what a love punch is, but it's just like a punchy affirmation mantra for our listeners to remember what we discussed today. So, Jenn, what is your love punch for today's episode?
Oh gosh. Yeah, it is. I actually like what I just said, which is, who are you to ask for so little? Like, stop putting fucking limitations on yourself. Because
Yes.
that's what got you where you're at right now. So
Yes.
if you want to expand, if you want to grow, stop putting those limitations on yourself. Stop asking for just enough. Just enough is not fucking enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's never enough. It's never enough. That's something I had to work on myself.
I love that. Who are you to ask for so little? Thank you so much, Jenn, for joining me on Love Punch and for sharing your wisdom with our tribe. Please tell our listeners how they can stalk you online.
Yes, the best place is my Facebook group. It's jenscalia.com/tribe. And I'm in there. I'm giving all kinds of love punches and smackdown live streams. And yeah, I tell it like it is. So if you want more of that, jenscalia.com/tribe. And that's where I spend most of my time.
Cool. I will add that link to the show notes. Jenn, I appreciate you immensely. You've played just a pivotal role in my leap into the work that I do. So I honor you. Thank you so much for being here. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on today's episode of Love Punch, where I am challenging thought leaders, influencers, and entrepreneurs like you to make a lasting impact. So if you liked this episode with me and Jenn, please share it with a friend, and don't forget to hit subscribe. If you're feeling a little extra frisky, drop a review on iTunes. And if you just want to say hi or just have a question, just reach out on social media at I Am Ruby. I will see you all here next week for a brand new episode of Love Punch.